Learn to create the life you deserve and desire with my 12-week wellness program, How to Be Fit, Happy, and Healthy. In this program, you'll discover your vision and why for living your best life, how to create the mindset needed for better health, healthy eating habits, proper exercise using the slow, easy method to burn fat, as well as skills, tools, and strategies for being fit, happy, and healthy. The program is now 50% off for a very limited time. Click on the link in the show notes to learn more. What does it take to be fit, happy, and healthy and live your best life well into your 40s, 50s, and beyond? In today's episode, I'm speaking with fitness and health expert Brad Williams about living your best life and, most importantly, staying healthy once you enter your fourth decade and beyond. We talk about how your pace, intensity, and overall approach to life changes, and some tools, tips, and strategies that you can apply to your life so that you too can be living your best life past the age of 40 and beyond.
All right, welcome everybody to another episode, fun, exciting episode of the Be Well, Be Safe, Be Happy, Eat Ice Cream podcast. And I have another Brad on the show. It's unusual that I get another Brad. So, Brad, welcome. It's funny to say your own name.
Yeah, no. Thanks, Brad, for having me on the show. And for viewers looking on Zoom, you can see that we're both wearing blue shirts. We're like just twinsies here.
Oh, I did. I didn't even realize that until you just pointed it out. So I don't know. Maybe we should have like nicknames like Brad One or Brad Two or something. I knew another
Yeah.
Brad a long time ago, and we did that. So, Brad, before we got on camera here, we were talking about something very fascinating. You've just hit the fourth decade of your life, and I've just hit the fifth decade of my life. And we were talking about, how do we stay fit, happy, healthy, or whatever the term we use once we start to get to these. I don't want to say golden years because we're not quite there,
Yeah.
but our middle age years. So you were talking about some adjustments that you've had to make. Share with us a little bit more about that.
Yeah. So I was kind of telling you, being, healthy into sports, growing up, my dad was a doctor, mom was a nurse. So just had that healthy upbringing and kept it all the way through high school, college, graduated, started doing personal training and, building up my brick and mortar gyms. And, obviously never really had to put too much effort, even though we were motivated when we were younger to, do more action and more type of stuff like that. And, you know, kind of the theme of my show stemmed from, my niche of training the over 40 crowd. That's just, who could afford personal training in my area here in Orange County.
Yeah.
And, them having them come to me and, I'm working out 3 times a week and I'm just not getting that last little bit off and I'm tired or, and then as a trainer, coming back at them like, you need to train harder, you need to diet better, you're not doing what the homework assignments I give you, that kind of stuff. And, lo and behold, after a little back injury I sustained about 5 years ago, and on top of that, turning 40 and seeing how the body slows down and the aging process begins, I think I'm now, at that point where I'm like, oh my God, it is harder to keep this off and stay healthier and look better. And you do slow down. I've got a kid, I've got a family and responsibilities more. It's like these guys were right. And now
Right.
I'm in the same boat, but I'm that personal trainer. I refuse to give up. And that's, what kind of strives me. I've been in this industry for 14 years. Um, and just having to change different aspects of my life. So, one of the biggest things I found was just the simple concept of intermittent fasting. If you don't want to change a client's program or what they're eating, just start with a simple program of, let's cut your eating window down to a shorter time. And then thus, once you stop, you're fasting for a longer period until, breakfast, whenever breakfast is for you. And since I started doing that, I'm like, oh my God, I'm starting to, thin out more than usual. So I'm fighting this aging process and I'm not having to put extra work because I've done that before. You go three days a week of training to 5 to 7 and, little benefits and maximum, issues with risk of injury and overtraining and that kind of stuff. So and I just don't want to do it. You know, I am a little bit more tired over 40, so I get it. So it's definitely
You're
work
still a
smarter, not
baby.
harder.
No, you're still a baby. Wait, it was funny for me because when I hit my fourth decade, I kind of that's when my journey started to, I think my third or fourth year, and I started to hit a peak. But when I hit my fifth decade, I could really feel it, slow down even more. So you mentioned intermittent fasting. Like, have you like kept up the intensity of your workouts, or have you slowed down, or like how have you adjusted that as you mature more in
Yeah.
life?
Well, well, I think after the back injury I mentioned about 5 years ago, that's when I pretty much threw out, sports
Oh, okay.
and a lot of hit training I was doing. Um, so I just kind of switched over to, just slower circuit training, mostly the style I was already training my clients with, which was just
Mm.
a blend of, weight training, try to go as heavy as you can for 10 to 15 reps, with a little blend of cardio. So I started doing more of that. It's a little bit slower pace, easier on the body. And then I started more focusing under time under tension. So,
Oh, yeah.
not just cranking out 15 reps, worry about more of taking, 5 to 10 seconds to do, the concentric and eccentric portion of every exercise. So, slow down the squat for 5 to 10 seconds and then come back up on that squat 5 to 10 seconds. So reps, I stopped really counting reps and just more going to a failure. And thus you can use lighter weight, easier on my back, easier on my joints. You really get that mindful connection of feeling like your glutes, your quads, or whatever muscle you're working. So you have to really think about it and focus. You just get a more quality, a more effective set. And I finished it up in like 20 minutes. So I
Yeah.
kind of I kind of threw in the towel on the hour and a half, and I was into it. So that's the other part. You're motivated because you love doing that stuff. But now things have changed, and I got stuff to do, and my back hurts, and I got to protect that. So it's like 20-minute workouts, and I can still maintain almost the same body I had when I was 30. It's like work smarter, not harder.
Yeah, yeah,
So
that's a good example. Let me ask you this: how you mentioned things have changed, and you've got a young child and all that, and you've got a million other things going on in your life. How do you still find time for this? I guess, or how do you make this a priority for yourself?
yeah, so just you gotta just start. I do a lot of journaling. Journaling of my to-do list for the day, journaling of how I feel when I wake up or after a workout, and a lot of stuff for my back as well. But then I also create a little list of, movement is so huge, and we all
Movement.
kind of saw that during COVID. Even for personal trainers, we all did our workouts, but then for the rest of the day, we were not allowed to leave the house and do anything, and we started gaining weight. So it's like, oh my God, steps really is huge. I used to think diet was 90% of the game. I don't think it's that high. I think movement takes a big chunk. So I have a little journal of things I like to do. It may not even be a workout. It may be going for a walk or doing physical therapy exercises or doing Pilates. But every day I have to find time in the day and I have to do one of them. And on top of that, if it's something local I can go to, like the grocery store, some restaurant we're going to, you walk there, stop driving. So that's kind of been my system that I have in place, and I've been holding pretty true to doing at least something 7 days a week.
With hitting your fourth decade, and you mentioned slowing down and things like that, do you kind of have a new perspective on life now, or how has the mental or emotional or psychological part for you changed?
Yeah, definitely. Just you know b- focusing more on aesthetics like we were doing in our 20s and 30s. That kind of doesn't matter anymore. We all
You're
want to
right.
have some kind of form, and I'm happy with that. But you know my focus has always kind of been on my, since I turned 40 or a little bit before 40, focusing on my blood work, my blood pressure, my overall health. Because after my little back injury, it was a very humbling experience to show you that, oh my God, everything can just fall apart like that. So all that work I did in my 20s and 30s and considered myself a little mini athlete, all taken away with just one moment. And now it's, oh my God, I have to have this last, this framework last, because I believe that we can pass the 100, 100 age barrier, the 120. And how are you going to do that if you keep beating up your body? So my whole mindset now is slow down. eat better, be very focused and practice in your methods of, better quality training, better supplements. Don't buy the cheap stuff, better foods. Big thing we started doing here in my house was, getting an air filter. If you're going to spend all this time sleeping in your room, get a little bit cleaner air. We got sparklets, mineralized water. Water is like the most important thing, even over food for your body. Why not get the best? It's not that much more expensive to, get a delivery every week. So just starting little things like that, and things feel better. Your mind feels better. Workouts are easier, and everything is just more focused on that overall health perspective. And then aesthetics just kind of comes with it anyway. So
It does. It's kind of the byproduct. It's kind of funny, ironic as I sit here listening to you. I'm definitely picking up on your vibe. You have a very relaxed, kind of melancholy, kind of at peace. That's the word I'm looking for. Peace. You have
yeah.
a peaceful vibe going on. You're in a good spot in life. I can tell that. So that's a result of your lifestyle and then slowing down, I guess.
Oh yeah. And at one point, my worst point in my life was probably like 6, 7 years ago of grinding it out in the brick and mortar game in Orange County, which is just competition galore.
No, I bet.
Got some investors, and we built up. At one point, I had 4 gyms going and running all those, working 120 hours a week. Sleep was garbage. My health was garbage. And I mean, I was moving, so I looked good. So the steps were working, but my mental state was just downward spiral, depressed like you wouldn't believe. And then, finally consolidating all those gyms and coming down to one. So we lost some, and then we chose to give up and sell the other ones. And just seeing how important stress is in your life, and having that gone, it was like, oh my God, I'm like back to a teenager where I didn't have any problems because my parents took care of everything. It was that kind of feeling, even though you still
Yeah.
had responsibility. But I was like, wow, look how bottom, close to the bottom you got. I was, and some of my gyms, I was worried about bankruptcy too, because I was worried about the debt and all that kind of stuff. But thankfully we got that all taken care of. And now just running one gym, doing podcasting, doing some online training. My wife's business is doing really well. I help her out as well. And, I joke around with my friends that, basically I'm just a house husband now, and I have no shame in it.
Oh,
I get
yeah.
stuff done. I get stuff
Yeah,
done too,
there's
but
nothing wrong with that.
but like you said, just my friends say the same thing. It's like, God, you were just so calm, so easy-going now
I
versus
can tell,
before.
yeah,
And
very chilled and relaxed, life's not all about the hustle and grind and bustle I mean, I got caught up in that for a long time, that 9 to 5, go, 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 go. And life, when you can slow life down, I think, yeah, it's a lot easier to just be chilled and be relaxed and have fun. Here's something I've learned recently too. So you mentioned about work harder and not necessarily work harder, but work smarter.
mhm,
Something I learned recently too that made a big difference for me is not just about working smarter, it's about working joyfully.
yes,
Yeah, yeah, I heard that and I went, whoa. So whenever you
yeah,
do workouts or anything, yeah, have a smile on your face. Just have fun with whatever you're doing.
yeah. That on my journal too of what feels good. How do I feel my body that day, my mind. Another part of it is what was like your happiness level. I saw
Oh,
some study done in like is it Harvard or Stanford or something like that, where they have like a happiness class or something. And she actually has a podcast. I forgot the name of it, but I was checking it out, and it's like this stuff matters. And like on my journal, I have like, what's your overall score today? I don't do it every day now, but it's just kind of fun to go back to it, and I'll just give myself an overall score, and it's usually like 8 or above.
yeah,
And what's funny is I've been without my 3 gyms for about 2 years now, and having this mentality and slowing things down has been so great. And then we've talked before about doing a lot more podcasting, going on other shows, and doing all this work to kind of build that up. And I got to the point where I was doing 3 shows a day, 3 hours of podcast clipping and editing and all that kind of stuff. And I feel myself like once again like, oh,
yeah,
I'm like overburdening myself with all the other stuff I have to do in my life. It's not, it doesn't matter to me. If it takes longer to grow this show, that's fine. I got to slow things down. So
yeah.
we were just talking like I got to calm the guests, not do so much. I need to bring it back because there's plenty of time to
Yeah,
get where we want to be.
it's funny, and you mentioned that, and I like to train in nature and be in nature a lot. That's one of the basic principles of nature. Go slow to get where you want to go in a hurry, because you'll get there. You won't be burned out, and you'll still be all in one piece. If you look at the tree or the watermelon seed, it takes, several weeks, days, months, years to prosper, and so we are the same. So yeah, go slow to, I don't know, be further, faster, sooner, I guess. Because so my program, I call it the slow easy, and you mentioned about slowing down. It really is about going slow, slowing down.
Yeah. Yeah. And, my whole career of, running gyms, everything was fast paced. Oh, I got to beat out the competition. I got to find the best type of marketing and ads to spend money on and
Yeah.
everything, your time, your money and everything with just the smallest amount of gain and, ROI. And it's
Mhm.
just pulling your hair out. And what it should just been is like, just take it easier, take it slower. Can't force people into your gyms. It'll just
Yeah.
happen naturally. Just go out, enjoy. People will pick up on your vibe. I wish I didn't buy 3 gyms. I wish I stayed with my one gym. I've been happy as a clam the last 14 years, but you learn from all your mistakes.
You made a good point. People will pick up on your vibe. Absolutely. Let me ask you about this. This is something I've learned recently too, in terms of like having a morning routine or anything like that. I don't know if you have one, but what I started doing every morning now, probably the last, I don't know, really the last 3 weeks, but maybe about 3 months ago, is I take the first 20 minutes after I wake up, actually, even before I wake up, the last 5 minutes, the snooze, whatever,
Hmm.
start to, like, I don't know, like prime myself or prep myself or get myself into that state of just, I don't know, ready to just be awesome today or whatever. And so I start with journaling now and some meditation, and just get myself in that centering spot of just, I don't know, health and overall wellness and well-being. And then I can go out and just kick some, if I can, for my own podcast, I'll say go out and kick some ass in the world.
Hmm.
So I don't know. Do you have anything like that, a morning routine, or where you just kind of focus on yourself for the first part of it?
Yeah, so I do the same thing. I learned that from a psychotherapist, that was on my show. When your alarm goes off in the morning, we shouldn't have alarms, but it just you have to just, you got kids and you get to school and stuff to
I got a
do and
dog for my
it
alarms. Yeah.
yeah. So let that alarm go off, turn it off, and then I wait 5 minutes and I do the same thing. Think about your day, what you're gonna do. It's gonna be a great day, and then I'll even do a body scan. That's when I do like
Oh,
kind of how's
okay.
your back feeling, how's your mind feeling. Kind of wiggle your toes. Just go slow, but you gotta sit for 5 minutes before you move because the other part is, we're in that stressful society of go go go, and I've learned that from other health and wellness professionals that you really got to keep your cortisol levels down and worry about your fight or flight response. So that alarm going off in the morning and you jolting up and boom, get out of bed, that's like spiking your cortisol, your fight or flight response. You don't need that. There's nothing that's wrong. So just chill out, take it easy, your levels stay low, and then finally you get up and I'll go drink a full glass, 20-ounce glass of water, just the first thing that hits.
Mm.
Um, Turn my coffee pot on, but I won't even touch that coffee for about 2 hours. Just let your body naturally build up its own hormonal levels and awareness and wake up. And I just kind of start off that, and then I'll do get my daughter ready, with some breakfast, all that kind of stuff, and then I do like a bunch of physical therapy type stretches, kind of Pilates based stuff for my back. And bam, as soon as I do that, I've just perfected this routine. I just feel strong, I feel good and limber, and then boom, then my day starts.
Yeah, and it's worked miracles for me. So just again, I don't know what term you call it, but I call it just priming myself and just getting, like, warming yourself up, getting yourself ready for the morning and ready for the day. So let me ask you this too. I'm curious. This is something, in my fifth decade that I'm going through, and something I'd like to educate the public on more, especially women. I have a lot of women listeners. We all know women, once they hit, late 40s, early 50s, certainly by mid 50s, go through menopause. But
Mhm.
men, we go through something similar but different called andropause. Are you familiar with that at all, or?
Yeah, I've heard the term, and you know, here and there, and I just, not an expert at it by any means, but
I'm not either, but essentially, and you're gonna start to see this too. It's the aging process and part that we men deal with is that already you're probably feeling your testosterone is
Hmm.
decreasing, and that's the hormone that keeps men going is testosterone. That starts to decrease, but also just naturally, sarcopenia and whatnot, our muscle mass starts to decrease. And then same as women, we have all the mood issues going on, we have all the ups and downs sometimes, and we have all this stuff. So just be ready, that's coming.
Yeah. Well, I
You know?
mean, I definitely see how much harder it is to,
Yeah.
at 42 now, I'm at, how hard it is to put on muscle, to keep muscle. Already the aging process is just doing everything it can not to use fat as energy source, but to
Yeah,
use,
yeah,
glycogen. And if you don't feed it that, if you're on a low carb diet, it'll just attack your muscles. So it's a constant battle, but that's the one I'm trying to perfect. And but yeah, it's not fair. That's what I always tell people. But sorry, life's not fair.
no, that's it's I read a good disease on or good a good article on aging that it is the one, and it used the word disease, but it is the one disease that none of us have beat, that none of us have been able to overcome or conquer or anything like that. But I think you're approaching it awesome, and I'm actually getting inspired and talking with you here today. I know we've talked before, but you've got a great mindset, you've got the healthy lifestyle going on, and you made such a good point earlier that if you focus on the healthy lifestyle, even after 40, the aesthetic part of it will still be there. And that's a huge
Yeah,
mind shift. A lot of people are just going straight for aesthetics, and you're right, that has to be the byproduct of living the lifestyle which you're doing, and so kudos to you for doing that.
yeah, yeah. Appreciate that, and to you as well. Another big thing too that I'm learning about, I'm not an expert on, is mitochondrial health. I know
Oh
what
yeah, yeah, yeah.
mitochondria is, and I know how to get them to rev up a little more, with certain supplements and all that kind of stuff. But aging, besides the sun, besides free radicals roaming in your body, besides the aging process and storing more fat and leaching from your bones and that kind of stuff, mitochondrial health is, you know, starts gunking up. They're the powerhouses of our cell, and as they slow down, they start breaking down the gears and everything. And, there's so many aspects to our body we don't know. And, in 500 years, they're gonna be laughing at us, but that's what we do with
That's
our past history.
that's true.
But
And how many,
I'm
there's
I'm getting real into that because everything about aging is just feeling good, being happy, and also it's gonna happen. Just slow it down. Another person that I've been watching on social media is, remember, George St. Pierre,
oh yeah,
UFC
Jeff,
fighter from
yes.
Canada,
Yeah, big fan
and
of
he.
his.
He still looks great. He has the same overall concept. He doesn't try to hit it hard and beat his body up too much. He's like, all I can do is slow it down faster, slow it down more than everyone else my age. And, that's all you can do is just, you look good, you feel good, but you are your age, and that's okay.
Yeah, I started slowing it down. I discovered this about 4 years ago, and my life changed. So again, for me, I call it the slow easy, where I slowed everything down and I took about 5 minutes off my running pace, and no more of the hit. The high intensity workouts. I backed off to maybe twice a month, something like that, 3 times a month, as opposed to 3 times a week and stuff like that. And it makes such a big difference. So Brad, this has been a fun conversation. Anything else you'd like to share? Let's real quick. You've got a podcast. Tell us about your podcast real quick.
Yeah. So yeah, my podcast is called Over 40 Fitness Hacks, and that's 40, not spelled out. And same thing for my website, over40fitnesshacks.com. And yeah, the kind of theme of it is, I'm a personal trainer that was beating up my clients for the last 15 years, and now I'm in the same boat as them. And I can't believe the aging process and how hard it is to get some of the same, things I was looking for in the past. But besides those things of having aesthetics and being able to run and keeping lean muscle mass, it's just morphed into other things like we were just talking about, just overall health, your mental state, your cortisol levels, stress, sleep. I've never had too much problems with sleep, but I know that's very important, especially as we age, to be able to detox the brain, detox our body, and be able to have a good day the next day. So, those are all the kind of things I preach on my show. But just like yours, you need to have fun too, but in moderation, and as long as you have a program designed to set yourself up for success, then you're fine. But yeah, no way, shape, or form am I that bodybuilder type, 7 days a week, boiled chicken and broth. No, I can't do it. And I don't expect my clients to do it either.
I do admire those who do that, at a certain phase
And
in
yeah,
their
more
life.
power to them.
Yeah, definitely, because you've got to challenge and push yourself in some aspects of your life, and
Yeah.
so that's their aspect. One question that just popped into my mind, I want to ask before we sign off here. So, a lot of my listeners are women over 40, and both of us are men. But are there any differences in life hacks that you've seen for men or women, or anything that you would say specifically for a man or for a woman over 40 in terms of life hacks and all that, and fitness hacks?
Yeah, I think more focused for women is, once they're going through the pre and menopause and all those kind of phases, cortisol levels are hit them so much worse than the male counterparts. And one of the biggest things I've learned in talking to other professionals is, you know, certain things like running raises your cortisol levels higher than like circuit training or Pilates or yoga, and not the greatest thing to do. I was never a runner, so it's not really hard for me, and neither is my wife. But for the ones that do, they need to know that you need to do that earlier in the day, because one of the worst things you can do is late afternoon and evening to do those types of things, and especially running being the worst, raising your cortisol levels that high, and then you're going to sleep. It just
Oh,
ravages your body,
yeah.
and we see that more with female clients, and just switching that or pulling it down to earlier in the day. Oh my God, I've seen such great success with that with my over 55 female clients.
Actually, that pops up another question. You talk about don't raise your cortisol before bedtime and go to sleep. Do you have any type of night routine that you do? I do like I'll call it chill and decompress the last hour before I go to sleep. Do you have any night routines that you do?
Yeah, I kind of do more stop watching TV and
Yeah.
being on your phone and your laptop and that kind of stuff, and more of, if I still want to do something, you can either listen to a show from your phone, just don't look at it, or I like, podcasting or just reading as well. But you got to decompress, good
So,
hour and a half minimum, maybe a little bit longer. And, stop eating. That was another thing. I do my fasting schedule, but I had geared it towards, 2 p.m. and I stop at like 9 p.m.
mm,
because, once I get home, I can't stop. But the problem with doing that is that you're still eating all the way up closer to bedtime and then just going to sleep on it. So your body has no chance to like burn this off. So I've recently just said, all right, the fasting has been doing great, but let's pull it earlier in the day. And I'm just going to have to do my best not to, attack that refrigerator past 6 p.m.
yeah.
And, it's a little challenge, but oh my God, I've seen better success with that method. So it's
Well,
all little tips and tricks.
yeah.
Also, this weekend I can go have some fun and not worry about it. I'll get rid of it
Yes.
Monday through Friday.
Well, that's where the ice cream comes in, because
Yeah.
life's about balance. You got to have fun. And I took it too far to the healthy side for a few years there, and I realized there's no big deal to have ice. So I actually had a scoop of ice cream last night. In proportion. I didn't have the whole thing. I could have, but yeah, life is about balance. Real quick, just for anyone listening, I would add, one thing I do at night too to help me sleep better is just a brain dump. Whatever's gone on during the day, what's going on in here, just dump it out. It'll still be there tomorrow. And just don't worry about it. Go to sleep. Have a good night. So,
Yeah. And that's why I like writing stuff down. Write it all down and then throw your notepad away. It
yeah,
doesn't matter. You're not going to forget anything because it's now written down.
yeah.
Now you can just enjoy and decompress. So
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
with you.
Life's about enjoying, and so yeah, we say work hard, work smart, but work joyfully too, and have fun with life. I think that's definitely a big part of it. You're a shining example of fit over 40 and fit, happy, healthy over 40. So, Brad, thank you so much for being here today. I super appreciate it. This has been really fun chatting with you.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on the show, Brad. It's awesome.
Yeah, you're absolutely welcome. And for anyone listening, I always ask if you've gotten anything out of this episode, definitely do both of us a solid. Share this episode. I'm going to put the show notes or in the show notes the link to Brad's podcast and to his website. Also, definitely check that out. Especially Fit Hacks Over 40. You're over 40. This is life. It's Brad's a shining example of the fit, happy, healthy lifestyle after 40. So yeah, share this episode and then hit that subscribe button for both Brads, Brad 1 and Brad 2 here for both.
There we go.
Hit that subscribe button, leave us both a 5-star review. We would super appreciate it. So again, Brad, thanks so much. And everyone, until next time, be well, be safe, be happy. And yes, it's okay to eat ice cream every once in a while. Have that scoop of ice cream. So take care, everyone. We'll see you next time.